I'm Anna.
I'm Ben.
For AutoSave, welcome to our channel.
Today we're watching the Apothecary Diaries, Season 2, Episode 16. I am on the last page in my notebook. I'm gonna have to get a new notebook after this episode.
That's exciting.
Loman's here. That's also exciting. I'm ready.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Ready?
Yeah.
Sweet. All right. Let's try to pick out which perspective we're looking from while it happens. Yeah?
Okay. Xiaolin.
Yeah.
Shisui.
Shisui.
Jinshi.
Jinshi.
Xiaolin.
Xiaolin.
Shisui.
Shisui.
Jinshi.
Jinshi.
Ooh, Xiaolin.
Maybe Xiaolin?
And then Shisui.
Yeah. It's a deal.
ほら見てごらんローメンさん。この子は賢いから小魚の頭と音腹渡ば。
私はこの国の最高の医師だと思う。
I think.
なのに花町で貧しく暮らしているのはいうものがないからだ。
ジョーちゃん、さっきから何を作ってるんだ。
使うもぐさです。
まおまお、ちゃんとグエンさんに断ってから使いなさい。
He's getting to watch her in a way I'm sure he never expected.
特にお呼びがないからね。
翡翠宮専属ではなく医局勤めになったのは
Makes sense.
神子様の帝の御子を宿している方がいる。リファ様だ。は無事に育ってほしい。
Me too.
そのためにまずは無事に産んでもらいたい。情報を見てくれるなら安心だな。
小宮に新しい次女たちが入ったみたいだね。先輩の次女が多くて急に宮の雰囲気が落ち着いた。
That's nice.
Oh.
経験豊富な次女が増え。
年配の女官は極端に少ない。高級は帝の子を産み育てる場。なのにそれが機能していない。今の帝の子が何人いれば改善すべきだ。
Mm-hmm.
この問題点に親父ならもう気づいていると思うけど。これは
今の高級で気になるところをまとめてみたんだ。
ローメンさん、綺麗な字を書くね。
そこかよ。
でもなんか
Who are we giving this to?
なんだね、威厳が足りないんじゃないかい。
今分や文字しか読めないものも。
Oh, ensuring more people can read it.
これは次女やませたいのか。
That's so
ど
cool.
うかな。見落としはないかね。まおまお、最近手習い所が作られたね。
He's already like settled
手
in.
本にできないか聞いてみてくれないかね。
Aww.
生徒の手を借りて張り紙と聞いてみる。
頼むよ。
商人のような頭の回りようだ。才覚を自分の生活に活かせないんだか。
No greed.
消毒用のアルコールもらっていきますね。
はいよ。
クヨ様が疲れやすいって言ってたからな。どうしたもんか。先に手習い所に行ってみるか。一応持ち歩いてはいるけど、前につけてみたら。
誘拐で神子様にもらったものじゃない？急につけてどうしたの？
これはローメンの
Wow.
よくお分かりで。
Aw.
昔家境の
I'm sure he's gonna be happy he's
あやつ
back.
の字を真似ると受かるなんて言われて皆で真似した文官としての才もあったのに病気でかわいそうだからと言って遺憾になるんだから。
Whoa.
今日はシャオランはいないのかね。
最近は年季明けの若い宦官の話に夢中で、それどころじゃないようです。
若い宦官ね、騒ぎ立てるのもどうかと思うんだがね。
ですか？
いや、南側に若い宦官を置いておく旅館たちの仕事がおろそかになるからって数人送られてきたんだよ。診療所の旅館は男手が増えて助かっている。
診療所か。神竜様なら若い宦官をこき使いそう。
She would be able to smell any
Oh,
medicinal ingredients.
この養父が書いたものを手本に鳥の練習をしてもらえないかと。紙は用意します。
はは、これを書いてあちこちハロってことだね。似たようなことを書いていたね。あの時はローメン一人で私も手伝ってしまったよ。二人で高級中に貼る紙をひたすら書いて、もう年を食って人をうまく使う。
You got to.
こうして文にして貼っていたのですか？
ローメンが医官をしていた頃だから20年以上前だね。貼られていたよ。鉛入りの白いは使わない。は控える。高級なの植物を勝手に取らない。あそこまで変わらないね。
Wow, the things that could have never happened if he was still there.
Right? What is this uneasy
紙を持って
feeling?
きます。
うん。
良かれと思って注意書きを貼ったはずだ。ク 逆に悪意ある者に害をなす者
Oh.
が2年の年季で入れ替わる。妃もまた選定の崩御で入れ替わっている。張り紙を知っている者、それは
あら、あなた翡翠宮の
神竜様。切り出すべきだろうか。でもどうやって。アルコールです。蒸留した濃いものなので消毒にいいかと。
お茶でも入れるわ。
That's such a good lead-in,
Bring
man.
bring a present.
Yeah.
ところで、ここの診療所にいる方は皆高級の女官はだいたい2年が年季ですが、皆様長くいらっしゃるようなので、
狩りだもの。
10代20代で入ったとして何か高級を出られない理由があるとしたら。
私は10歳で高級に入った。
Wow.
他の女官たちもそれくらいの年。
娘を女官にすることはない。だが選定の時代は。
では年派もいかぬ少女を選んではその花を散らし、少女たちは外に出ることを許されぬまま。
お手つきとなればただの女官でも高級を出ること。
私たちは誰も迎えに来てくれないから、今もこれからもずっと。
ああ、高級に帝に吠える妃たちに救っていた悪意はここにあった。高級で病に倒れた下女を心配し見るように頼んでき、よく気のつく女官だと思った。だがある真に堕胎剤の作り方を教えたのは神竜ではないだろうか。あの病に伏せていた下女を使ったとしたら。
映したくないんです。もしかしたら誤解にて。
これを次女頭の神様に渡して。害があるものだ。合わせると堕胎剤の材料になるものもある。
In the same way,
Yep.
people can gain information from the posting
避ける
of
べ
the
きもの
facts.
は
Mhm.
何が毒なのかを教えることにもなる。
Yeah.
の材料になるものが売られていれば
You could never
手に
prove
し
it.
ないわけがない。この子が欲しいと商人に吹き込んだのかもしれないかない悪意が高級内を蝕み。
If anything, she's just a valuable source of information.
問い詰めるべきか。
どうしたんです？
いや、やめよう。証拠も証言もないしとは言いたくない。ここは病にかかった女官たちが頼れる。診療所に救う悪意が他に及ぶ前に摘み取ることくらいか。すみません、お邪魔しました。
る方があれば持って行っていいわよ。ただちゃんと返してね。だな、たまに本が増えてるのよね。
People
返
add
してくれるだけで
books.
いいのに。
ずいぶん立派な虫の図説。
何か置いてあったのよね。
Added without me
これ
noticing.
くらいかしら。
ここほんとすごいよね。図鑑でしか見たことない虫がいっぱい。
止水が持ってきたのか。下女の身で持てるだろうか。あ時紙の帳面を使っていた。なんで下女をやってるんだ。
Holy shit.
チェンリュ、そいつには気をつけた方がいい。
男にしては高い声、女にしては低い声、男にしては背が低く、女にしては背が高い。女官たちが黄色い声を上げるの。美貌の持ち主、水霊。
Holy shit.
チェンリュ、そいつはお前が何をしたかさっきの会話でさ、相変わらず勘が。
This is not good. This is not good.
好きに逃げるか。
余計なことはしない方がいい。
Holy shit.
ここで私を始末したところで、
できれば穏便に済ませたい。
Hand
蘇
shaking.
りの薬の後遺症ですか。薬を使ってしばらく仮死状態になった影響が残ってしまったんですね。
こちらの目的を言おうか。
聞くと思いますか。
聞いてもらう。
What the
What the fuck?
What the?
やっぱりさっきの図説の持ち。
この娘がどうなってもいいのか。
何をすれば。
一緒に出てもらいたい。
高級を出る。そんなこと。
できる。それにお前は絶対私によみがえりの薬。
Right? Of course,
作り
Emma would
方を知
follow.
りたくないか。
なんてこと言いやがる。やはり水霊は侮れない。
部があることから武漢に1匹、西の代名詞である文漢にもう一武漢である羅漢が東の狐、先帝の代からの銃を治める師匠が西の狸である。
何のご用でしょう。皇帝が一月ぶりに町議に参加されておりますから、ここもどうかと思いまして。せっかくの機会ですから、師匠殿もご一緒。付き合うと言っておられます。神はにでも参りましょうか。参りましたなあ。
My stomach hurts.
一杯を用意しました。毒味の必要はございます。美味だと言っておられます。
何か話があるのでは。
先日、四北州水がありましたでしょう。その調査で面白いものが手に入りましてな。これはフェイファの設計図。これが何かご存知ですか？
That's why we had him come here. Oh my god.
Holy shit, Lacan. An accusation,
犯人
bitch.
たちが所持していた凶器です。解体して図に起こしたものですが、のようでしてね。ここ、撃鉄の先に火縄ではなく火打ち。それを王帝の命を狙うような不届き者が持つとは、これを手に入れたんですかね。
さあ。食べるのもそちらの役目でしょう。
そうなんですが、いやー困ったもので加減を間違えたようで何も喋れなくなってしまいました。それで何かそれらしい話を聞いたことはありません。
ということがあれば当に報告しておるよ。
そうですか。本題に移りますか。
The main topic.
これは昨日妻と打った碁の寄付でしてな。
そういえばご結婚されたのでしたな、ラカン殿。
頭の切れる妻でしてな。壊れた刃のような筋で。
He has a saved copy of their game.
ほら、この手。なんとか射撃
仕事があるのでこの辺りで。
では後で寄付の写しと実況を書いた冊子を届けさせましょう。
そこまでは。
遠慮なさらず。そうだ、このジュースもいかがです？と赤が映えますぞ。
確かに美しいですな。
しょう。あなたとは話が合いそうだ。
The colorblind.
ぜひゆっくりしたい。
What the fuck is this episode?
珍しい色をしているだろう。緑色のブドウも存在する。見ても赤ではなく緑だ。赤と言われたのに、師匠殿はなぜ？言った通りだ。
It's on a platter. It's on a platter!
He gave so much to
I
Jinchi.
know!
人が来ぬように私も見張っておりますので、ご安心を。
外せる。この靴というのも疲れるものだ。
こたびは無理を申し上げて。
代わりなどそうできることではない。
What?
I'm gonna flip the table.
勘にしか見えない。これがまさか。元上
The
級兵は
fuck is this episode? What the fuck is this episode?
狐が変人すぎてタヌキが普通に見えた。
軍師殿にかなう方はそうはいません。娘にも甘いそうです。あいつが軍師殿の娘だなんて。
対応に追われているのだろう。宦官陣師殿はまさか行方不明になると。
What the fuck is Jinshi doing?
I fear that I said, what the fuck is this episode way too early.
That was just... We'll talk about it, I guess.
How do we talk about it?
Back to the discussion. Okay, that was the Apothecary Diaries, Season 2, Episode 16! What the fuck? Oh, okay. Alright, so... The Apothecary Diaries.
Episode 16.
I'm like, okay, we're given some hints, you know. The eunuchs, we're splitting them up north and south. Some are going to
Putting
the
some
clinic.
younger ones to the clinic. Yeah,
So at the end of the episode, Anna and I are going to be able to speculate like, ooh, I wonder who went to the clinic. I wonder what that's going to lead to.
Oh, we found a book.
It could have been Suri who could have gone to the clinic, you know. Just fucking floor to the pedal. What the shit? Oh my
the
god.
fact that they went with what was somewhat of a normal episode kind of reveal or theme or trope of what they've done previously with, oh, Mao Mao sitting across the table with Shen Lu being like, ooh, okay, how do I handle this conversation? Because I can't accuse her of doing anything, but I feel like I'm sitting across from someone who very purposefully could have been spreading this information.
Which we get from like beginning of the episode. It was a beautiful episode and it was perfectly tied together. We get it because I don't want to skip over any details that I think we should acknowledge and talk about. We get this whole thing from Luomin. It's great intentions, and you'd think that there would be no negative like effect from being able to spread this information that could literally and would have potentially literally saved the Emperor's children's lives. And unfortunately, what you're also doing is giving people with evil intent the perfect information that they'd need to be able to enact evil plans.
With it all being able to be looked at either as an accident or a miscarriage, something more natural and not poison and deliberate intervention.
So not only do we get Luomin doing something with good intent, we get the exact opposite of it. Somebody spreading this information with malicious intent, and that being Shen Lu, that being Shen Lu. And I'm like, okay, when we're in there and we're recounting, like, we're seeing history, right? We're re-seeing these moments that we have after speculating that Shen Lu is doing this with malicious intent based off of resentment. And while we're in the episode, I'm writing notes down to remember to bring them up in the discussion, but I'm also actively trying to think, like, what would be a really good topic to talk about? And at the moment when that was playing out and we're seeing like an evil face or smile, you know, malice on Shen Lu's face, I'm like, in the discussion, Anne and I are going to bring up if that was real or not. Like, we're like putting this into being that this could be a possibility.
It was an imagining. It wasn't necessarily... It wasn't depicted to us for us to, in that moment, believe that that was wholeheartedly
confirmed 100%.
A flashback.
Yeah.
But more so in imagining, Mao imagining how that scenario could have played out.
But now, fuck that, because it was confirmed that it was true. Like, Jesus Christ. It is
confirmed by the lines of, she knows. Like, the idea that Mao was able to figure it out being literally said to Shen Lu. Like, what you've said to her, it's already clear. She already knows. And Shen Lu obviously reacts to this being like, oh, okay, yeah. Obviously this makes sense to her. I'm gonna freak out.
I'm gonna freak out. Can we just like go through the lines that are said? Like just...
We need to be a little more methodical with it, with like actually going through lines. It's because of the fact that within the last half of the episode there was just so much. We need to be methodical.
I completely agree. So like, okay, before we even do that, let's just get everything out of the way that we could talk about. I love Luomin being in the rear palace. I love his back and forth with Guen, and that was great. He has beautiful handwriting. Everybody tried to copy his handwriting to be able to, you know, pass their own exams.
And I felt really good about the fact that he was going to get to see what Mao's life is like here. Because, like, yeah, it's almost like your parent visiting you at college or something, you know? Like, them getting to see the life that you've built for themselves with their own eyes. I was like, oh, this is a happy feeling idea. I love that he's going to get to see the connections she's made with other people, the people that she has directly saved and healed. Yeah. And how they feel about her, and that's going to be lovely for him to get to see this.
And instead of just doing it all himself or as a duo, we're putting the work in, we're getting the work done in a very efficient way by utilizing people who are learning to read and learning to write, and that's great. Yep. I love that.
He's a businessman or merchant. I think Mao says likens it to like a good merchant.
And I love the flashback of them doing it. Now, narratively, why the fuck would you include Luomin into the rear palace? We need somebody for Gyokyu's safety, for Gyokyu's child's safety, for everybody's safety. We need a Mao in the rear palace at all times, right? We need somebody with that level of deduction. why else would you introduce Luomen to the Rear Palace? Is it just to help Gyokyu's birth? Yeah, it is, but it's also so that you can fucking kidnap Mao Mao and take her out of the Rear Palace.
Without us having maybe too much fear that anything's actually going to happen to like Lady Luiha or Gyokyu's children. Honestly, it does make me feel better. It is skipping a little bit to even mention the kidnapping. I feel like we'll talk about it a little bit more. Or the fact
I'm
that
only
she's
doing
missing.
it to connect it to Luomen.
Yeah, no, but we'll talk about it a little more to maybe in other areas. But yeah, to connect it, it does make me feel a little bit better about the state of the Rear Palace and also about Mao Mao being found. The fact that we get in this episode that her father, Lakan, is also seemingly willing, even though it wasn't. I'm not. I feel
You're
like
jumping
I bring
around.
up stuff.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Okay.
Maybe I'll just shut up until we go further.
Shenlu. Next to Shenlu.
Okay.
Resentment's real. This was fucked up. This was horrifying, and it makes them isolated for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
Every little girl who had to be under the fucking disgusting reign of the previous emperor, like, it's real. And if somebody comes to you and says, it's only a matter of time before it happens again to the next generation, you're going to be motivated by your resentment to be like, all right, let's fucking enact some change, regardless of if good change is already happening within the Rear Palace, right?
It doesn't even feel like that's what it is. It just feels like revenge by the fact that this emperor isn't even entertaining young girls. Like, Li Shu has not even been visited.
Yes.
And so it just feels like revenge.
That's what I mean by, like, if somebody came to you, though, and said it's only a matter of time before the next emperor comes into being and he's a fucking
What if
freak.
one of these kids that this emperor births ends up being like that?
It could be approached a bunch of different ways, one of them being just resentment and it just being malice and revenge, because that's all it would need. But I'm just saying, like,
or is it like the whole, when we bring up the colorblind energy, we also bring up at the end of last episode
the
colorblind idea, and what we bring up at the end of last episode with, Mao Mao, you don't seem very similar to your adopted father, her great uncle. Is with those two topics, are we showing what someone could believe is, like you say, it's only a matter of time, that within a family there are going to be traits and personalities passed down, and we're just thinking that because there's no way this family can escape
Shenlu
what
is
the emperor has, the previous emperor has done, what he was like, and the whole bloodline is going to be at risk of being like that.
Yeah. So at that point, I'm like, everything's making sense, and holy shit, Mao Mao's figuring it out. Mao Mao choosing not to interrogate anything because it's baseless. Like, you don't have anything tangible to actually be able to tie it back to his evidence. Mao Mao makes the right decision, backs off, says she'll nip it in the bud, and great. Until it's not. At 14 minutes in this episode, and 6 seconds, everything fucking goes out the window. This table starts to become flipped.
Well, yeah, so we thought the reveal, at first we thought the reveal was going to be that Shenlu had anything to do with it. Then we were like, Mao Mao's figuring something out about this book, because not only are we like, oh, this book would be expensive, how would Shisui have her hands on it? But she has a notebook that she draws in that is also...
I intentionally skipped over that because
sorry.
I want to bring it back in a different light.
Okay.
I think that I might be onto something with it. So I want to come back to that, but out of order, okay? So Jesus Christ. And a few episodes ago, we fucking entertained the idea that Mao Mao wouldn't be able to tell Tsuri in this disguise right off the bat. We entertained that idea. Fuck if we were wrong. We're idiots. A voice uncharacteristically high for a man, but low for a woman. It's almost like a Sixth Sense. Like, this happening is almost like all of the planets aligning, and Mao Mao immediately knew it was Tsuri without even looking or saying anything. A voice uncharacteristically high for a man, but low for a woman. Shorter than an average man, but taller than an average woman. Someone beautiful who attracts the attention of the court ladies. And then their conversation is fucking Shenlu, she figured out what you did from your conversation earlier. Like, it's cutting. It cuts right to the point. It's such a... I love this show so much because, like, typically we are seeing situations that Mao Mao is probably the smartest person in the room, right?
And right now...
Mao Mao's like a Lacan in that sense, that a lot of what she's saying she needs to be careful with it because she needs to guide people with her words to her actual intent. And that's a lot of the Apothecary Diaries, and it's sweet and it's amazing. But when you have another character like Mao Mao in the room, all of that goes out the window, and all the dressing things up and it just goes right to the point. And God, it's fucking great when it happens out of nowhere. This is probably one of my favorite episodes, if not my favorite episodes of the Apothecary Diaries. Shenlu immediately responds and reacts, "You're a smart one, as always. Like the time you prevented me from being a corpse. Should I scream? Should I throw the bottle of alcohol and run?" And that was internal. But fucking Suri already knows she's trying to think about what she's gonna do. Don't try anything, I'll stab you if you move. If you killed me here, they'd find you right away. I want to end this peacefully if possible. You see the tremor in her hand, and Mao Mao immediately realizes, is that an after effect of the resurrection medicine?
I want to end this peacefully. I feel like I just want to talk about that.
Go for it.
So when someone says that they want to end this peacefully, as they're obviously threatening to kill you, she can't mean the entire situation, the entire reason she's here, because obviously we've seen some not very peaceful things happen. So is it just the interaction with Mao Mao?
I think it's in response to her, to Mao Mao saying, "You can't kill me here," because they'd know immediately. Like, I want to end this immediate interaction peacefully.
I'm talking about you and me here. I want this to go peacefully.
I think that she now realizes that she needs Mao Mao out of here permanently to get anything done that she wants to get done.
But she wants to keep Mao Mao alive.
Not necessarily.
For now.
Not necessarily. I think that she wants to, like, keep Mao Mao alive until they're out of the rear palace, at least.
But why couldn't you kill someone here and then smuggle them out?
Because they'd get found out. That's what Mao Mao just said.
Yeah, but you're also, like, couldn't someone find you out the same way if you just kidnapped the person alive? As if you killed them and then took them out?
Not necessarily. Nobody knows it's Suri here, other than probably Shenlu.
Yeah, but they're like the same scenario to me. I'm not really seeing like a difference in terms of what people could suss out from one versus the other.
Death, blood splatter. There's evidence.
Could clean it up
in a quick enough time at the clinic. Like, it's a way safer method to approach this how Suri is.
Well, I'm not arguing that.
Yeah. Being in that near-death state for a while must have taken a toll on you. And I'm liking that Mao Mao is bringing this up because, yes, it's an observation. Yes, it's trying to understand what the medicine would do. But it's also in response to, like, what is Suri physically capable of right now?
Okay, so it is a little bit of, like, that comment being said out loud is a little bit of, like, I can tell that your hands are shaking.
Yeah.
Could you really effectively kill me?
And it also tells us as viewers who are trying to understand if Suri, this was all part of her, like, character or her bit, or if it was genuine and effects of the resurrection medicine, which it seems to be. And Suri immediately changes subject. Like, she is so smart, and I love it so much because she's like, so what? Do you want to know what my goal is? Like, the point that you're bringing up, I'm immediately going to extinguish right now, Mao Mao. I'm immediately going to extinguish it. And that's what she does. You think I'll listen? You will. I know you fucking will. Not only because who I have right now, but what I'm willing to tell you. All right. Unfortunately, this is when I want to bring up the books.
Okay.
I knew it. That book was Shisui's. How the show is playing this out, and I believe, wanting me to think, is that it makes sense that Shisui's here and why she would be used right now as a threat, right?
Mm-hmm.
It makes sense because the book's here. And that's what she was using. But what it doesn't account for is every other thing that Mao Mao brings up about the book. Could you write down 1522 in your notebook just so I know where to come back to?
Yep.
Thank you. This book, did Shisui bring it? How could a servant girl own an expensive book? When Shisui was drawing pictures of insects, she used a notebook made out of paper. It doesn't extinguish these points.
Yes.
We've connected at the end of the episode, and we're bringing everything together. Like, okay, who initially started this this assassination attempt against Jinshi, right? Who do we think it is? Shisho. This is going on at the same time or immediately before. If we're connecting Shiso to that attempt and we're involving Suri here and bringing up the book, I am worried that Shisui is in on it. I'm worried that Lao Lin is in on it. And this is a character that Shisui's playing. Like, I don't... Okay, is it that... It's one of two things. Is it that Suri doesn't realize that Shisui's Lao Lin and is using her as a threat, or she knows exactly that Lao Lin is Shisui and is agreeing because it's the longer term, bigger term plan for her father to being used as a threat here?
In my mind, there's no way she doesn't know. And I think after Mao Mao reacts, Shisui says that she's sorry to Mao Mao.
And what is she actually sorry for? Is she sorry for being caught and used here, or is she sorry for what she's actually doing to Mao Mao?
Or being sorry that Mao Mao is the one that has to be taken out for... Is the fact that she got close to someone and cares for someone that is now having to be taken out of the rear palace for whatever the greater goals are.
Yep. And that she knows that she's actively betraying Mao Mao right now.
Because you could think about it, okay, so how did all of this happen so quickly? It's not like Mao Mao was within this room for a very long time talking to Shenlu. Not like too long. So how did Suri not only notice that Mao Mao was there, but have enough time to get a hostage that is someone that she knows Mao Mao probably cares about? What are the odds of that having happened other than coincidence that Shisui just happened to be around the clinic at that time?
God damn it. What does that mean? What is Suri? Like, who is Suri at this point, right? If we have a high-ranking concubine like Lao Lin that's involved, and we have Shisho, I would imagine that Suri is of similar importance and isn't just a fucking random person that we're utilizing. You know what I mean?
If anything, she's like a knight. She's like your secret assassin that you send in. Someone who's from an important family that's been highly trained their entire life for a certain goal. I mean, we have this whole idea in this episode. 20 years ago is how long it's been. And that's why no one, and all the terms being 2 years, basically, for a lot of the people who work in the rear palace, there's not anyone who remembers. Therefore, someone could have been trained for 20 years in order for a certain plan or a certain goal.
And like, so much so that they're willing to kill themselves just to be resurrected and have permanent consequences to them for this plan. A lot more to talk about. Do you think Mao Mao, one, will she actually learn the recipe for the resurrection medicine? I think yes. And two, do you think that she'll ever use it? Like, would it be thematically fucked up and poetic if Mao Mao had to end up in a more damaged state of her own being, akin to Tsuri and maybe akin to her own mother?
So, okay.
Sorry, that was a lot.
Yeah, so first question was, do I think she'll learn it?
Yeah.
I would say that I think that it would be a really great resolution moment, present moment, like being finally given the Oxbazor. I think it would be really nice when everything is said and done for Mao Mao to figure it out and gleefully jump around while everyone else is like, doesn't she just realize she was kidnapped? You know, like that sort of comedic energy we can sometimes get when Mao Mao is given something that feeds her interests.
Yeah.
So I could see her obtaining the recipe. Could I see her using it? I couldn't see her using it and it being effective for what the plot is, what's happening in the plot currently, because it would be found out. If she's being kidnapped by the people who already had the plan to begin with to use this
I just mean at some point in the future, not at all.
At some point in the
not
future,
in this plot.
Only in a comedic moment where she tries it out and people are like, "Oh my God, Mao Mao's dead," and then she's like, "Nope, I'm not actually dead."
But she'd have like
how it works.
Permanent repercussions from it. I also think there's a chance she could use it in a medicinal way, like putting somebody into a temporary coma, like to be able
so how do they take care of the concubines when they have to possibly get cut open for a baby to be removed?
Is there anesthetic?
Yes, exactly. So that was a really good kind of point to bring up. Like, obviously Mao Mao is willing to test things on herself. We know that 100%. We also know that even if something is not good for her, like her buckwheat allergy, she had at some point continuously tried to build up a tolerance to it. So I'm not against the idea that even though she knows there could be repercussions to something, that she would then not try it. I think there's still the chance that she would try it.
Yeah.
But why she would try it, I don't know if there would ever be a moment in the storyline that she would need to, and more so I could see it maybe being used as like she's trying it because she's always trying out new medicines and different things on her arm and testing things and trying to see how it can be used for other people and how it works.
Super fair. Okay, next, there are two beasts in the palace, in the east and the west.
I knew who one of them was going to be. I 100% was like already Lacan is one of them when this happened.
Yeah, in the military headquarters to the east, a beast. To the west side, represented by bureaucracy, another. In other words, the Grand Commandant, Lacan, a high-ranking official, the fox in the east, and the political heavyweight from the late Emperor's era, the ruler of Shihokushu, Shisho, the Tanuki of the west.
A fox and a Tanuki.
Yup, okay, so, what we're getting here is them meeting with Jinshi, right? And it makes sense because Lacan, he noticed that the younger brothers joined the court council for the first time in a month, would love to have some tea afterwards, and he thought this would be a lovely meeting. Mm-hmm. And that's so cool, and that's so fine. But when we fucking figure out that it's Aoduo, that recontextualizes this entire situation, because why is it Aoduo? Because Jinshi's doing something else. Why is Jinshi doing something else? Because he knows Mao Mao is missing. Why did Lacan want to actually set up this tea meeting? It's because I think Lacan knows that his fucking daughter's missing, so he's not pulling any fucking punches anymore. He's gonna go out there, brag about his badass wife, and expose this fucker for who he is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, so one thing I do have to bring up to, like, obviously, I think, yes, now we know this is taking place with the fact that Mao Mao is missing, is gone. I do believe that Lacan probably would know that.
Probably. I've got ahead of myself,
question mark.
But yes.
But I would say another thing is, I don't even know if I could say for certainty that Lacan knows this isn't Jinshi in front of him. Because he doesn't see people's faces. He sees the stones.
It doesn't matter if it's Jinshi or not to Lacan.
So to him, he might not know that if he did it, that could go with the argument of he doesn't know Mao Mao's missing. Because if he thinks this is Jinshi in front of him, he could just... But also, why would he try to help?
I don't think it matters.
There we go. There's the question of why would Lacan be trying to help Jinshi?
Because his daughter is missing, and he has this information that he could be trying to play neutral potentially, or at least holding a bit longer, but he is like... I think he knows at this point that Mao Mao is missing, and it is the motivating factor to choose now to unveil the information that he has.
I completely agree.
But I don't think it matters if it was Jinshi or Aoduo, because either way, if he knew it was.
It was all about performative to Shisho. That's what this was.
I disagree.
Really?
I think it needed to be Jinshi there, or at least somebody, because you're passing on your information in an indirect way to a higher up.
Oh, I don't disagree with that. I mean, like, it's performative. Like, he needed the fact that there was someone who was higher up, like Jinshi, and had to welcome Shisho into this conversation. It was all a performance.
Yeah.
But I also completely agree that the only reason someone who is said to us very plainly and very clearly that they are incredibly neutral, and then when people have tried to pull Lacan over to their side, they end up getting burned. He is giving his information, and he is doing a performance here that we've been told he probably wouldn't normally do unless something important to him was on the line here.
Yeah.
And he cares, and he is wanting to help, and he is wanting to burn Shisho's whole house down, basically.
I wonder, like, I wouldn't even put it past him, even though it was an amazing moment, and it was just romantic and cute of, like, showing the record of their game that they played. I wouldn't be surprised if he was like, if that was some indirect metaphor for the approach that he is taking politically in his attack here. Like, and he's like, here, no, look at it, it's so cute. And if you actually sat down and like read the play-by-play, it's kind of what he was like, his approach, you know, like in a
every scene we're seeing in this last half of the episode is a go game.
Yeah,
is a strategy game. Mao Mao, when she's faced with Suri in that room with Shen Lu in the middle and Shisui being held hostage, go game. This table setting where we have Basan standing behind, now we know it's Ao Duo. Everyone has their like right hand man there with them during this conversation. We bring out the green grape. All of this is a game, and Lacan is a star.
Lacan is a star.
And he loves his wife, and I love that for him.
I love it. What a fucking episode, man. What a season. This episode makes the season so much better because of just the color of it. Him just... God. Shisho doesn't know how much he's fucked here. He doesn't know that he fucked up, and that's the best part of it, right? There's no confirmation that he has that, like, he played everything by the book when he was accused of maybe knowing more about the guns, right? He did everything right. And that's a great play by Lacan to let him have that, because he doesn't know what he gave away with the color here, and that can get the gears rolling.
Well, exactly, that's such a play, is present them with what feels like an accusation, actually, of guns, and then be like, oh, and do you want some grape juice before you leave? Like, he's not going to be suspicious of the grape juice because you just accused him about a gun.
Yeah.
Like, so good. But I think where he messed up, where Shisho has messed up, is that I think instead of always being worried that the servant girl's life being so expendable was us to be worried about some like death happening to Mao Mao or another servant girl. If anything, it was mainly to tell us that the people higher up don't value the servant girls enough to be worried about them.
Mm-hmm.
And this servant girl isn't just a servant girl. She is, as we knew from the first season, before we knew who she really was, we knew her to be brilliant and have great deductive skills, have so much knowledge from her adopted father, and now it's gotten deeper. She's literally the daughter of the fox, you know, someone who's so high up and respected by the emperor, and she is the great niece, basically, or great niece, I think it's great niece, of someone who used to be the freaking palace doctor and is so incredibly smart and could have had a higher position if he hadn't wanted to be a doctor.
The Ao Duo reveal hits so much harder because the Ao Duo and Jinshi conversation happened about Mao Mao, right? Like, them talking about Mao Mao and addressing that she was important to Jinshi makes this scene so much better. When we hear her cadence in her voice, and that daughter is why Master Jinshi the eunuch is busy, correct? Like, holy shit. I'm scared for Suri. I'm half joking when I say that, but my intention is to bring up, like, what lengths would Jinshi go to for Mao Mao in this case? I don't want to see Jinshi's face.
You know what this reminds me of? I think what this episode is completely directly reminding me of, especially with the question you just asked of what lengths would Master Jinshi go to, is the scene of him fully as the crown prince walking down the stairs holding Mao Mao with her bleeding leg as Lacan watches from the other side of the steps.
Fuck yeah.
That is what he would do, is that he would proclaim as his actual status his care for this person.
Okay, so I feel like we've been doing a okay job talking about it, considering that we haven't had time to really like digest it, and we're talking right after watching the episode.
This episode
really
was incredibly hard to be really
getting everything perfect.
Everything perfect, being really clear with what we're talking about.
But just to like put myself out there, and I think that I might be wrong for sure. Maybe that's the one thing, like maybe Lacan did think this actually was Jinshi, because like maybe the one thing Lacan doesn't know is the lengths that Jinshi would go for Mao Mao. I think that could be either way, to be honest, though. But like, regardless, like the idea of Jinshi going to the world's end for Mao Mao is an incredible thing that we're going to be seeing.
And Ao Duo, she's also a great person to be hearing this information too, because yes, she's like no longer a concubine within the Rear Palace, but she has been a trusted confidant and friend of the Emperor her entire life.
Yeah.
They are incredibly close. That means whatever she's learning here, she has just as much legs to go tell the Emperor herself what she's learned and what Lacan is doing here.
Do you think that Shisui is currently with Suri and Mao Mao, or they left her back because she's Lao Lin and needs to be there?
I don't think that she's with them.
Yeah.
But it does. I feel like that opens what is the next kind of questioning. What does this look like for Mao Mao? And my questioning also then goes to what could Mao Mao learn from being removed from the Rear Palace and being with people who know more than she does? Especially who certain people's identities might be. Especially with last episode, the fact that if you wear the silver hairpin, I'll tell you, what does Mao Mao have on her right now? The silver hairpin.
You're so right. We can use it.
We can use it as a weapon.
Yeah.
But more that I'm fearful that Mao Mao will find out some of the truths that I wish she could hear from people directly within whatever this captivity or journey is.
Okay, so I think this is connected because my last thing even was like, all right, there's potential that we're finally going to get to hear what Suri's motivation is, right? What her motivating factor and driving force is. And with that, it is very easy to connect to like, what if she hears more about, Jinshi?
If the fact that there was an assassination attempt, that's going to be a part of an explanation of what the whole plan and motive was.
Yeah.
I feel like Mao Mao can't get out of a conversation of hearing what the motive and plans were without
Learning.
finding out kind of the truths that she's been avoiding. And part of me is like, okay, is that a good thing? Is it a good thing for Mao Mao to learn the truth not from Jinshi? Obviously, overarching comment is you'd always hope that if someone has something important to tell you that they'll get to tell you directly and you don't hear it secondhand information. But then I could enter into the conversation the idea that maybe Mao Mao would handle it and or actually fully process it better if it's not coming from Jinshi.
You know what could be cool though? Like she learns about it from Suri, right? It would be unfortunate for like not giving Jinshi the ability to be the person to tell her, but what if it's like, okay, she learns about it, and that's why she comes to the conclusion that no one's going to come get her. Like, if Jinshi's actually somebody who is that important, and that's the biggest, like, her biggest hope right now of somebody rescuing her other than Lacan would be Jinshi, and then learning about, like, how important he actually is. He would never leave the palace for someone like me, right? Jinshi shows up on a fucking horse and AK-47s and a cigar and starts fucking blasting everyone.
Well, okay, so you definitely have a point there. Not about the how he will show up.
No?
Maybe the horse.
Okay.
Maybe just the first part. But I think that is really great for you to bring up, that if Mao Mao was to find out this information, what would that do to her mental state or her hope to get out of this situation? She not only would not want to be a burden to the people that she cares about, like Gyokyu and others back at the Rear Palace, she might have thoughts of being worried about them since she can't be there to protect them, and can't tell them what she's learning here. But the idea of how is she going to get out? Yeah, she has had that conversation back in the first season where we get that red plant in Jinshi's kind of office being overlapped with all of the different traumas
such a beautiful
and sad
episode.
events.
How'd she want to die?
Yeah, how would she want to die? That was one of the biggest kind of conversations, turning points in them coming to understand each other and how each other viewed their positions and how each other viewed how far their dynamic and relationship could actually go, especially then. Like these are our places that we exist in, and we can't deny that, was a big sum up of what that conversation was. And that's that idea of like Mao Mao still views Gaoshin's main compliment, one of his main compliments of Mao Mao, is that she is a girl that knows her place.
Yep.
And Mao Mao will view her place as not being worth. If anything, she'll be like, "Why would you come rescue me?"
I know, isn't it so
Protect
good?
Gyokyu.
Isn't it so good?
Figure out what's going on. Like, I am just a servant girl. I wish I could have told you the truth, but like, there are people to be protected, babies to be born.
Yeah.
Like, he's
They
the
need...
crown prince.
Exactly. It's
and
so
that's
good.
why it would be so good. Oh,
I love this show. Okay, my actual last thing. I just thought of it. I'm making this up. This is not real. I'm pretty sure I am completely making this up. Lacan, I'm interpreting this as a sneak diss that Lacan is doing, right? When he first sits everybody down for tea, he's like, I brought silver cups. You won't need a taster. He won't need a taster. The taster's Mau Mau. He doesn't need Mau Mau right now. We're doing this because we know that you're up to some shit and that you inspired something that resulted in my daughter getting kidnapped. She's a taster. You don't need it. Fuck you. I'm the silver cup, bitch. I don't know. I'm just so happy. That was such a good episode.
I feel like this episode was incredibly crazy. It was like being hit with a freight train. I don't actually know what that would feel like, obviously, but it was honestly, I felt like I was gonna be like, oh, I can't wait to talk about in the discussion, like, how surprised Ben was about this reveal.
Yeah.
And how can you even ask that question? You can't even ask the question of which reveal felt the biggest to you, because they came so quickly in a quick succession after one another that it was just the most wild ride I think I might have ever been on in terms of reveals in an anime. I've seen some wild reveals, but they've been one reveal, not a succession of reveals.
But it's so real, right?
I'm not expecting
like once
anymore,
it
and
starts,
then you give me another one.
Yeah, you have to let everything out once it starts. Like, I'm so glad it wasn't just one. A lesser show would in this situation would have ended on Mau Mau being kidnapped at the 16-minute mark, and I'm so glad that they didn't. It's so great. And to answer your question, my favorite reveal of the episode, I don't think it's gonna be yours, but it was Lacan revealing the gun information and then revealing the grape juice. Like, Lacan stole this episode for me.
He really did. I think that, like I had said previously in the discussion, other episodes of Apothecary Diaries would have ended the episode off with Mau Mau and Shenlu's conversation and finding the book about Shisui, and then Mau Mau somehow leaving that interaction.
Yeah.
That is how other episodes would have ended. Why did this episode not end like that? Because, as we've been told with the past 4 episodes since the assassination attempt, things are going to be ramping up. Mm-hmm. And that is literally what they did here. They literally were like, hey, we're going to give you what feels like a normal Apothecary episode, and then we're going to ramp it up within that episode.
Jesus Christ.
I'm surprised we actually made it through this discussion talking about this. I was incredibly nervous once the episode ended, because I was like, I hope that I'm able to get everything out
even
that
if
I want to talk about.
The whole point, like, I want to be wrong at the end of the... I want to know what the intention behind what I'm trying to enjoy actually is. And I know that my interpretations of things are not correct some of the time, and that's welcomed. But it's so much fun to be able to watch an episode this fucking good and then just be able to, like, geek out about it and talk about it and feel like it was so good.
Well, we know we had fun.
I know. I love this so much. This is such a great episode.
And now I'm just like, I can't believe.
How do we come down from this?
How do you? Yeah, the energy of which this episode started, I feel like it almost feels different than what you normally feel in terms of the feeling of a typical cliffhanger. Like, this is so much weirder than just a cliffhanger. This doesn't even feel like what a cliffhanger often feels like. This feels like...
I feel like I'm about to watch a movie.
I'm on the top at the roller coaster. You know, I'm like, wait, why'd you stop the ride? Like, I am on the ride. Why is it stopped?
I feel like we're at a point in Demon Slayer that the TV series has stopped, and what's coming next are I think a couple movies or one movie, but it's a movie, right? That's what I feel like right now with the Apothecary Diaries. Like, holy shit, next week I'm gonna watch a fucking movie, bro.
That is
like,
what it feels like, yeah. Okay, well,
if anybody has listened to me ramble for this long, I appreciate you so much, and I am also sorry for rambling, but thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we hope to see you next time.
That was insane!